White Fang by Jack London, Chapter 9, Lip Lip. As White Fang was very smart, it did not take him long to learn the ways of the camp, and whom to avoid. He learned that women would give him extra food when no one else was watching. He lingered near tents as meals were prepared, waiting for an extra fish or piece of meat to be thrown his way. Children, on the other hand, were often mean and threw things at him. Somehow he always got into trouble whenever he went too close to them. He was the center of too many jokes, and he learned to stay away from other dogs. Lip Lip, in particular. Lip Lip was older than White Fang and not happy about the newcomer. Lip Lip was a bully and liked bossing around the puppies. He took every chance to jump on or bother White Fang. The wolf cub was under constant attack. If he wandered around camp sniffing in corners and under tent flaps, Lip Lip was waiting for him. He bit at the cub or knocked him over. White Fang barely had a moment's peace. There was no time for puppy games when faced with Lip Lip and his attacks. White Fang was forced to grow up too quickly. Since his mother was still tied up, Gray Beaver was his only defender. The other men in the camp blamed White Fang for every fight, every stolen piece of fish, and every overturned plate. He often hid behind Gray Beaver's legs while men pointed fingers or waved clubs. His master never let anyone touch White Fang, even when it was the cub's fault, and it sometimes was his fault. It is hard to be fair and honest when no one treats you that way. White Fang missed the wild. There were days when he sat at the edge of camp and looked out into the trees. But he always returned, restless and uncomfortable, to whimper softly at Quiche's side. Finally, the day came when Gray Beaver untied Quiche. White Fang was very happy about his mother's freedom. He accompanied her joyfully around the camp. As long as he stayed close by her side, Lip Lip kept his distance. For the first time since coming to the camp, White Fang felt happy and confident. At long last, things could change. His mother was free, and they could return to their life in the wild. He led his mother to the edge of the woods. The stream, the cave, and the quiet woods were calling to him. He ran on a few steps, stopped, and looked back. Quiche had not moved. He ran under some bushes playfully, trying to pull her out. There was something calling to him out here in the open. His mother heard it too, but she also heard the call of fire and man. Quiche turned and slowly trotted back toward camp. What was White Fang to do? After all, he was still a puppy. Although the call of the wild was strong, the need to be with his mother was stronger. He followed her back to Gray Beaver's tent and the life of the camp, both good and bad. Unfortunately, White Fang's life was about to change yet again. During the winter famine, Gray Beaver bought some meat from Three Eagles, another man from the tribe. In order to pay him back, Gray Beaver gave his friend some cloth, a bearskin, and Quiche. Three Eagles and his family were leaving camp to go trading in the south. He packed his new cloth and bearskin and led Quiche away by a rope. White Fang watched while this strange man took his mother into a canoe. He was terrified. He barked and howled and ran up and down the shore. He tried to follow, but Three Eagles kicked him back. The man pushed the canoe into the water and set off. Gray Beaver tried to hold on to the cub, but White Fang wiggled free. He ran into the river and started to swim after his mother. Gray Beaver quickly grabbed another canoe and chased White Fang. He was soon beside the frantic cub. The man reached in, grabbed him by the scruff of his neck, and pulled him into the canoe. White Fang yelped and howled, calling for his mother. He tried to jump back into the water, but Gray Beaver stopped him. And then White Fang experienced something entirely new. Gray Beaver beat him. He delivered one slap after another until the cub stopped crying. White Fang tried to growl and bare his teeth, but Gray Beaver was not afraid. There was nothing the wolf cub could do. He stopped growling and sat at Gray Beaver's feet as they returned to shore. White Fang went home with his master. He understood that Gray Beaver was powerful and must be obeyed. But the wolf cub was no longer happy. He was more suspicious of people and other dogs. He liked to be on his own. The beatings and the loss of his mother changed him. They taught him that he must be mean.